Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this very video, we're going to be discussing shortly 5 practical steps to make our lecture experience more effective and productive. As a student, lecture times are not the right time for you to test out your newfound skills of sleeping without getting noticed by your lecturer, but rather a time for you to learn. Well, all of this happens probably because you don't apply the right approach in undergoing these lectures. But don't worry, in this very videos, we're going to be learning about how to make our lecture time fruitful as well as retain most of what we've learned during the lectures. Let's get started. The common mistake among students is believing that lecture time starts with when they walk into the classroom and they are seated listening to the lecturer. That's very wrong. For a productive lecture time, this brings us to the very first practical tip, which is preparing ahead. At the beginning of each semester, what the lecturers mostly do is to dish out course outlines for the courses you're going to be taking. This is because it is expected that with this course outline, you're going to be preparing ahead of what you're going to be taking during your lecture hours. So as a student, before attending each of these lectures on a particular topic, for you to be productive, what you need to do is to get the relevant materials. This could be textbooks or PDFs, and then skim through what you're going to be learning during that lecture. This could just be 10 minutes or even 15 minutes of your time, just skimming through what you're going to be taught during the lecture. That way, when it is being taught by the lecturer, it's not your first time getting to hear about this. And also, this helps you in identifying the areas of confusion and then help you ask smarter questions during the lecture time. The second practical tip for a productive lecture time is active listening. Don't be that person that is always quick enough to write down each and everything that the lecturer is saying, but rather focus more on grabbing the main idea that is being passed down. Focus more on listening and understanding before you write down than just be quick enough to just write down each and everything that is being said. And of course, listening actually involves you critically analyzing what is being said within. And don't forget to always link what is being said to something you've known in the past. That way you get to retain it better. The third practical step for a productive lecture time is effective note-taking. Oftentimes, I do see students attend lectures with no notes, relying on just the power of their brain. Well, while it is true that the brain can actually remember and retain a lot of stuff, let's not forget that the brain also has a lot of stuff to deal with. And like I often say, that sometimes the brain remembers what it wants to forget and forgets what it wants to remember. In this very note, you're going to be jotting down the major ideas being passed down by the lecturer. I remember what I said earlier on. It's not about writing down each and everything that is being said by the lecturer, but rather focusing on the major points, such that when you see these major points, it gets to remind you of what was being said during the lecture. And also in this very note, you could write down possible matters you need clarification on. This could be you going home to search more on this or asking questions in class. Speaking about asking questions, this brings us to the next step, which is asking questions and participate. Back then as an undergraduate, I had this very classmate of mine who would rather die than raise his hands to ask questions in class. Well, according to him, it's a foolish question. But chances are that some other persons also have same question in mind but feel same that it's a foolish question. If you all knew the answers to questions, what then are you doing in the classroom in the first place? A school is a place where you get to learn, where you get to be cleared on your doubts and your ignorance. Those very questions that you're shy to ask during your lecture time, saying them in your exam, well, guess what? You're going to shylishly fail them. Always learn to ask questions in class. Don't be shy about asking questions. Guess what? If you fail, you are all in alone, just you and you alone. Asking questions and being cleared on what you are asked helps you to read with a deeper understanding and also helps you to prevent cramming. Because it is only when you don't understand that you get to just cram. The fifth and last practical tip for a productive lecture time is to review and revise. Sometimes after lectures, we are so quick to just dump that very notes we made during our lecture time. This is not supposed to be so. Always remember that those notes are there to remind you of something. So what you do immediately after the lecture or when you get home is to revise through all those important points you've highlighted. That way it gets to solidify those very things you've learned since the memory is still fresh. Like myself, what I do is that I discuss those very topics that was being lectured with my classmates. That way it gets to help me to solidify the very thing I learned during the lecture and I also learned from them. This brings us to the very end of this video. Don't forget that sometimes it requires a little difference to create a big change. So if your lecture time is a series of sleeping, distraction, napping, boringness, why not just apply this little difference to it and let's see the outcome. If you found this video very helpful, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section, and also don't forget to like, subscribe, share. See you in the next video. Thank you.